Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. I have some leftover barbecue shredded chicken, which I've done a video for before, and I'm going to make tortillas, which I've done a video for before, but I'm making something kind of different, and I want to take you along just in case it's really good. I want to share it with you because I likely won't remember what I did unless I record it. So let's go over as we make some burritos. Yeah, barbecue shredded chicken burritos. So let's go. So I've made my tortilla dough this morning, and I will put the recipe in the description just because I may have changed this up a bit, and I think I've kind of perfected tortilla dough, so just in case. So I made this up earlier this morning. It's been about 5 hours ago I made this, but I wanted to get very, very relaxed. You don't want to mix up your tortilla dough and then automatically start rolling out at that point. It's just going to draw back up and frustrate you. So I did mine earlier this morning, covered it up with a shower cap, and it's been relaxing all this time. This recipe, this amount is supposed to make 12 tortillas, but I want them to be just a little bit larger than what I normally make. So I'm just going to cut this into 8 sections, and we're going to make 8 tortillas. So the barbecue shredded chicken is something I made the other day, and I think I probably only made about either a half or a fourth of the recipe. I can't really remember, but I didn't want that much. We are leaving in a few days to do some traveling for about 10 days, and I don't want a bunch of leftovers in my fridge, but I wanted to make that. All right, I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down, not a whole lot. I don't want these laden with flour, but I want it to be enough. It's kind of like putting ball bearings on something, and you can slide it around real easy. If I don't put the flour down, I just have to keep peeling it off. But you can see how beautifully these roll out. Now, normally mine are not in circle shapes, so that proves right there I have no Hispanic heritage, or else I'd be able to maybe roll out a good tortilla, but they still taste good. If you like a thicker tortilla, by all means, just roll it out to where it's not quite as thin, but I tend to like mine a little bit on the thin side. And notice I'm starting in the center and rolling outward instead of going just all the way across continually. I'm not going to show the entire process of doing all these. I'll just do one of them and show you the entire process of this one cooking. So we'll put this in our hot skillet, and I've had this on for about 5 minutes. And I have a towel here. This is just a clean tea towel that I use a lot in the kitchen. I have a stack of them, and I'm going to use this to hold in the humidity or the moisture of the tortillas so they don't dry out. Just kind of fold it over like an envelope. It doesn't take long for these to cook. I have my burner on, I have a little piece of paper on the inside of my cabinet door letting me know what items can be cooked at what temperature, and I have listed on their tortillas cook at number 2. So I've done this enough to where I've had it too low and too high, but I think number 2 on my stovetop, and it's the extension, the bigger burner instead of the small one, cooks these just right. Sometimes they puff up a lot, but this one doesn't have any baking soda or anything like that. It doesn't have any yeast in it. It is simply, let me see what I put in this. Flour, salt, butter, and water. And that is it. And trust me, the butter makes it really, really good. These are really nice. These could be used as dessert tortillas easily. Very easily. Okay, I want it to be cooked thoroughly. I don't want raw flour. That's a big no-no. Don't eat raw flour. But I don't want it to be crispy like if I were making a Mexican casserole. Sometimes I don't care if it just gets overly brown. Okay, see it's puffing up right here. See that big bubble coming up? I'm hoping you can see that, but I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get it like this. I can't tell if there's a shadow on it, so. Let's see if this helps. Nope. We'll turn that off. All right, so we will link the video to the shredded barbecue chicken to this video, but I will include the recipe for how I do these tortillas now in the description. But if you want detailed instructions on how to mix up the dough, which it's kind of self-explanatory in the recipe, but you can always go back and watch my video on how to make flour tortillas. Normally, while I'm cooking one in the skillet, I'm over here rolling out another one. I got a little assembly line just of me going, and it works pretty well. If you have other things you want to put in these tortillas, that is perfectly fine. If you have leftover steak, roast, whatever, these will be great. Okay, this is what your tortilla should look like. Let me do it with this camera over here just in case. You can't see it well enough there. Woo, that's hot. All right, I'm going to put it inside my towel there. Put the top on that. And then we put the other tortilla in the skillet. Okay, we'll move on to the next step. Finished our tortillas. Just took the last one out of the skillet, and we're going to put them right here. And this is what they look like. It's just a big towel with tortillas in it. A tea towel. Okay, so in this is my shredded barbecue chicken. Like I said, there's a video online. We will link that to this video. And I am going to take this can of beans because I just came up with this recipe in my mind this morning, probably when I was waiting to get out of bed, and I didn't have time to cook some beans. I had other things to do this morning. So this is just a can of beans, and I've drained most of the juice out of it. I would say this might be 2 cups of shredded chicken left. If you just have a rotisserie chicken, if you just have some chicken in your fridge that you think, I don't know what to do with it, add some barbecue sauce to it. Just however you like it. This is one of those, we're going to wing it because I'm just making it up as I go. So we have eaten this on buns. I made some rolls, or I think I ate mine on sourdough actually. And I made some coleslaw, and we had barbecue sandwiches with this the other day. So I'm just going to dump this can of beans in here. I reserved the juice over here just in case it didn't have enough liquid. Years ago, I used to work in an orthodontic practice, and there was a young lady that used to come do filing for me in the afternoons. And her mother was of Asian descent, and she made these burritos, and she would send them to work, and they were so good. But they were just simply flour tortillas. And then she gave me the recipe for the inside of them, which was, I think it was, I can't remember if it was beef or pork, actually. And you cook it down, and you put bullseye barbecue sauce in it, and just very few other things, maybe some beef broth or something in there. Cook it for a long time, and then you add some cheese to it, put it on these burritos, roll them up, wrap them up individually, stick them in the freezer, and then just heat them up as you went. Oh my goodness, they were so good. But I want to kind of mimic that. I mean, I have that recipe, and I would refer back to it. I'd change it up a little bit because I'm not a fan of store-bought barbecue sauce, but this is probably about as close as we're going to get to that, especially just using leftovers. Like I said, we're traveling out of the country in a few days, and I do not want leftovers in my refrigerator. I don't want to have to throw anything away, so we're just going to eat up what we can, and this is one way of using that. And if you have barbecued pork, that's great. If you have beef in your fridge, that's great too. Just use whatever you have. I also had some pepper jack cheese that I needed to shred because it was getting kind of colorful on the edge, and I cut that off, and yes, I do that. But I shredded up the rest of it, so we have Monterey or pepper jack cheese, which is Monterey Jack with jalapeno peppers in it. And then I had some Monterey Jack. I went ahead and shredded that because I had a package of that opened in there as well. So here's what we're going to do. This is my plan. We'll see how this works. I'm going to take our burrito. Make sure you can see this. Rearrange my cameras here. We're going to put, and I have to have this divided up among 8 servings. So I just want to have enough in each one. Whoops. Put that on there. A little bit of pepper jack. A little bit of Monterey Jack, which equals a lot of cheese. Fold the ends over. See how soft these tortillas are? I mean, they turn out so pretty. I seriously hope y'all give these a try because they are fabulous. We're going to roll it up kind of like an egg roll. Except for hopefully these don't fall apart like my egg rolls do. Tight like that. And we're going to put these in a casserole dish, seam side down, and point it in the direction where they won't come unrolled. And we'll just do each one like that until we've used all our ingredients. If you have someone in your family that really likes it spicy, you could put some pickled jalapenos on these, and oh, that would be so good. But I'm going to invite some friends over tonight, and they're not a huge fan of spicy things, so we'll just lay off on that. You can always add them later. So when I get ready to prepare these, I'm going to have some parchment over these and foil on top of that because I don't want the foil touching the food. That's a big no-no. And we'll put these in the oven to bake. That one's kind of crispy on the top, but it still didn't have a blowout, so we're good. I might need to taste that. That's so good. The butter just makes it fabulous. Okay. Figure out which way to turn these at times. Now I may not use all these, or may not use all the tortillas, and that's okay. Because we always know what to do with leftover tortillas. I've never had one that went bad that I know of. Okay, tuck the ends in, fold it over, and kind of push it in as you're going along. We have a bean there trying to escape, so we got to keep all those in. Just roll it up, and the heat, the residual heat from the tortillas, kind of keep everything intact. I don't think 8 of these are going to fit in this pan. There's no way 8 will fit in this pan, so we'll see how many we can fit in the pan, and we'll just go with that. We may have to put a couple of them in another type of packaging and reserve those for the refrigerator to have for lunch tomorrow, maybe. Oh, that one turned out really pretty. Now see, after I turned the camera off a while ago, I rolled a perfectly round tortilla. Nobody was around to see it. Nobody. Okay, that one looks really pretty. Now, if you wanted to use cheddar on this in place of the pepper jack or Monterey jack or whatever, that's totally fine too. I'm trying to remember what that recipe called for. I have it in my big giant notebook down there with recipes, but I was in too big of a hurry to pull it out and refer back to it. But those burritos were so good. Another pretty one. Okay, it looks like we can fit 6 in this pan, and then I will make another one to put in another package, and then we'll have 1 tortilla left over. So I'll just find something to do with that. All right, I'll try to show you a picture of these when we get ready to serve these, but no promises made there because I'm constantly forgetting things. It won't even occur to me until the next day. I go, you know what? I forgot to video serving that. But anyway, you can see how these goes, and I will give you an honest opinion of how they turned out and what they tasted like, either written or coming back kind of in a disclaimer at the end of the video, which I sometimes do. But if I forget to come back and I just write the disclaimer out, I thank you for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Bye, guys.